Nostalgie, nostalgie.
My God, having a shot of vodka with Aykroyd in Brussels, just a few steps from the Grand Place, it's really amazing. I don't know, what do you do?
Well, it's amazing for me too. It doesn't happen to me every day. I don't get here, too much, and I'm excited to be here in this beautiful city, in this, country with a vast population that just, unlike a lot of areas in the world, seems to be getting along with each other. I mean, it's a model for what should be everywhere, right?
You already knew Brussels?
Only from reputation and reading about it, of course, in photographs and the architecture. And here's your bar car martini. This is your Long Island Railway bar car martini.
Well, let's taste.
Sip of that.
I was not kidding. We're here to talk about vodka, Crystal
We
Head.
can talk about everything. We don't only
Okay.
we don't have to talk about the bar. Anything you want. Anything. All
First of
subjects.
all,
Well, that's a nice way to start the interview, huh? Yeah.
we understand why, while looking at the bottle, looking at the glass, we call it crystal head.
Yeah.
But it's more difficult on the radio. So we can explain.
Sure.
Why did you call it?
Well, there's a great Mesoamerican, South American legend about the 13 crystal heads. These were crystal balls, essentially, that were given to the Mayans, the Navajo, the Aztecs. And there's questions about them. Were they carved and polished over thousands of years and passed down through the tribe? The Navajo believed that they came from extraterrestrials, that the Star Children brought these devices down as sacred relics to help the tribe to positivize and enlighten their experience. So they're very beautiful, the skulls. Some are cloudy orange, some are cloudy green, some are cloudy white, and then you have the clear ones, like the Mitchell Hedges skull, which is the one that we based our design on. And when you see our skull, it has a little smile. It's not a skull of doom, it's a skull of happiness and enlightenment. And it was the perfect vessel in which to put our fluid, because our fluid has no additives. It is a completely pure spirit without glyceride, citrus oil, or sugar in it. And this bottle was, just kind of made to deliver
There's no sugar
the idea
in
of purity.
it. I can't believe it.
No sugar. It's so interesting, because a lot of lesser expensive vodkas, they add so much. They add the glyceride to cut the alcohol, cut the smell, cut the taste. Well, I want you to taste my alcohol. I'm proud of it. It comes from Newfoundland, comes from peaches and cream corn, comes from glacial aquifer water, the most beautiful water in the world. I want that sweetness to be there. That's why we don't over distill. We only distill 4 times. Again, the notes: sweet, vanilla, dry, crisp, kick of heat off the finish. You get that sweetness from the corn that's not over distilled. You get the smoothness from the water, and producing a beverage that's natural and clean. People today want to eat and drink clean, and this is as close to a health product as I can think of in the category.
People think that you are American or you are Canadian.
Well, let me say I love Americans.
Yeah.
I think America is the most generous nation on earth. Although their benign strategic initiatives sometimes gets in the way of their reputation, and they do overreach and overstretch in some of the foreign campaigns, the intention of America is to make the world better. And so I love Americans, and I love an American country, I love my American-born children and American-born wife, but I am very proudly a Canadian and will remain so for the rest of my life. I was born on July 1, 1952. July 1, of course, is Canada Day, the anniversary of our Confederation. My mother was a French-Canadian Quebecoise, and my dad is a High Anglican English, and my grandfather was a Royal Canadian Mounted Police Staff Sergeant. So I'm the grandson of a Maori born on July 1st, of French mother and English father. That makes me very, very Canadian.
So you can tell something in French.
C'est le français manqué, il faut pratiquer. Ma mère est une belle Canadienne française, s'appelle Lorraine Goujon, née à Van Cleek Hill, Ontario. Elle est totalement bilingue. Me, I got some work to do on the French, but here maybe I'll listen a bit and practice. Huh?
It was brilliant then.
Bon. Je parle le français de Hall Québec, c'est moitié de slang. Hein?
I heard it.
Yeah.
Is the Crystal Head Canadian too? I already drank Russian, Finnish,
Sure.
Swedish,
Sure.
Polish,
Icelandic.
but never Canadian vodka.
Oh, really? Okay. Well, I'm so proud to be able to go around the world and talk about this product. See, vodka is really just an old Russian word for water. So you got to start with great water. The Newfoundland aquifer that we use is from the original ice cap that was above the planet. 16,000 years ago, you had the Wisconsin Glacier, covered everything from Baffin Island right down to the Atlantic, all the way across to past the Great Lakes, to the prairies, down into Montana, down into upstate New York. The Champlain Sea was eventually what became of it after it melted. Well, that glacial, beautiful, pure, original planet water melted into Newfoundland. Newfoundland is a porous rock. It's an island about 900 feet high. It sits 1,000 miles away from the Erie plume of pollution, which killed lakes in the 70s. In Vermont, Quebec, Ontario in the 70s, you couldn't catch a fish. There was so much acid rain. That water in Newfoundland's never been touched by acid rain. That plume of pollution from the Bessemer furnaces from the turn of the century in Philadelphia, Pittsburgh, and in Bethlehem, Pennsylvania, all that went under Newfoundland, so it's never been touched. That water is so sweet when you start with it. So that's where you start. We get that, we draw it up into the still, and we marry it with our peaches and cream mix of alcohol. It's just pure peaches and cream corn, the kind of corn you get in the summer in Canada, right from the prairie, and you buy it off the farmer's stand. Beautiful, nuggety, thick, beautiful kernels. That's what you're tasting in that sweetness.
The sugar taste
That's the
comes
sugar.
from the corn.
That's the sugar comes from the corn. You don't need any more sugar in C2H506. There's enough sugar in there. And so we have this Canadian blend of corn and the water, and then we have the government manufacturer. Crystal Head Vodka is made by the province of Newfoundland and Labrador Liquor Distillery Corporation. It is the last state-owned still in the world. So the quality is absolutely impeccable and ensured. It's also kosher. The rabbi blesses it, and it's kosher, and it's gluten-free because there's no wheat in it. So, you know, again, if you want to drink clean, Crystal Head is your choice. Bartenders love it. Bartenders today, I mean, I've seen some drinks up in Portland, Oregon, which is a bar chef community. Guy made a drink there for me, a cube of maple sugar. He had bacon crisps that he put in there, and then, you know, ants on a log with peanut butter and blueberries and a celery, and he put that in a drink, in the vodka, and with a little bitters and some, you know, rosemary. Bartenders are going to infuse what they want into their drinks. So why not start with a vodka that has nothing in it? You'll be adding, as a bar chef, you'll be adding your additives yourself. You'll be infusing sugar, emulsions, you know, the bacon bits, blueberries, brown sugar, maple sugar, bitters, you know, rosemary juice, lime, everything that you add into vodka. So why not start with one that has no glyceride, no sugar, and no citrus oil? You're starting with a clean canvas. Bartenders here are very molecularly oriented. They want to know what is in what you're drinking. And so what we've done is taken just the molecular formula of ethyl alcohol and water, C2H506, H2O, married together, and the molecular chain of the glyceride is removed, the molecular chain of the sugar is removed, and the molecular chain of the citrus oil is removed. We are winning medals all over the world. Prodexpo, 400 beverages. They voted us excellent taste. World Spirits Competition, those notes I told you. The Australian Liquor Industry Awards. I mean, I think we got 6 gold medals around the world here. So I did it right, and I thought it through. I didn't go into this, you know, because I had to. I'm quite busy. I did this because I just wanted to do something better in the field. I've always tried to do #1 radio, #1 TV, #1 television, and working with the best collaborators possible. And this was the same kind of passion that I put into this. I wanted to do something better, and we have succeeded at doing that.
Talking about bartenders, I heard you owned a bar during the 70s while you were a member of the cast of Saturday Night Live. Is it true?
Well, I always had a bar in Ottawa, Canada, in my parents' home, down in the basement. You know, my friends used to come in through the coal shuttle. It was a coal door in the old days. Used to pour coal in there for the furnace. It's about a half door. You know, it's about this high, like that movie Being John Malkovich, you know, that with the half door, and they go in and out of this room. It was just like that. When people wanted to come drink with me, they had to crouch down, get in, go down the coal chute, and there I had a whole bar set up. And I was 15, 16 years old when I was doing that. And then of
but
course...
you started at 17.
At Saturday Night Live, yeah. When we started 23, well, then I had a bar in Toronto, the 505 Club, also an after-hours club, when I was at Second City. And then, and John Belushi and I, we got a place at Hudson and Dominic, an old longshoreman's bar, and that was where we had all the after parties of Saturday Night Live. Now, these weren't legal bars, not licensed. Obviously, we gave everything away. It was free. It was not a commercial enterprise, but they were real bars with real good times associated with them. We had 2 bars in New York, and then after John died, I got rid of the second one. Now, of course, we have House of Blues in the United States, which I helped to co-found. It's owned by Live Nation. We have 13 clubs around the country, and I'd love to bring one here. I mean, I think this city would work. You've got the population, you've got the sophistication, the love of music, culture, and Louisiana cuisine is not something I see around here, so I think people would love it.
Is it true that you had a jukebox in this famous bar?
Oh, yeah.
And that's where John Belushi used to love for the first time the rhythm and blues while listening to the singers in your jukebox. Is that true?
Well, he knew that music anyway. I mean, John knew rhythm and blues and soul. He knew soul.
But you prefer heavy metal at the time.
He did. And but the jukebox was something that we used to kind of re-educate each other, and I re-educated him, he re-educated me, and we were able to put on there all of the Stax Volt hits and all of the things that we loved, and that thing had a beautiful sound, man. That big old Seaberg speakers cranking out, wow. And after Saturday Night Live, we'd have an after party at a restaurant, and then I'd say to the people who were on the show, I'd say, let's come and party at the club, and they'd pull up, and the jukebox would be cranking, and I'd have my motorcycle parked right inside there, We had people like Francis Ford Coppola, David Bowie at the bar, ZZ Top, all kinds of tremendous singers. Rolling Stones jammed there, yeah. So that was quite a time. But Crystal Head didn't exist, I'm sorry to say.
That's where the Blues Brothers started, because you used to jam with John. Is that true?
It started Blues Brothers started way before Saturday Night Live. Blues Brothers started in Toronto when I first met John. He came up in 1973 to recruit for Lampoon Radio Hour, and we come up with the Blues Brothers the first night we met, just listening to a Down Child Blues record. And then we began to practice. We played with Kinky Friedman. We played with, in fact, one of our first backup bands was Willie Nelson, and we put on the uniforms and the briefcase, the handcuffs. We played at the Lone Star Cafe, and Willie Nelson was our first backup band.
You played the main character in the Blues Brothers, and after that Ghostbusters and so on. But you also wrote the script.
Co-wrote. Nothing's done alone. Again, collaboration. We don't do this alone. We pick the best people to work with.
I heard that you wrote Ghostbusters also for John Belushi.
I did.
He was supposed to play.
He was. In fact, I was typing his dialogue when I heard he died. They called, and I was midway through a line for him.
And Bill Murray replaced him.
Well, I wrote it for Eddie Murphy and John and myself, and then another character. And the Billy character really came when the script was turned over to Harold and to Ivan, and the three of us began to collaborate. And that's when we decided we're gonna give it to Bill. And so it came after the original script. Yeah. It wasn't like he took John's place. We sort of originated that romantic character for him, and boy did he pull it off, man. I mean, I tell you, that movie, I credit 50% of the success of it with Bill's performance. You
had fun great with him during the shooting?
We had in both movies we had a ball. I mean, come on, we own New York City. I mean, you get in that ambulance and drive all over town, with the siren and the lights going. People didn't know what we were. They thought we were new sanitation squad or something.
And now around 25 years later, we're going to see you in Get On Up. Biopic,
Terrific film. Yeah. It's more than a biopic, though. It's completely unconventional. It's not like any biopic you've seen. It's a story of a man who was a dynamic talent, a businessman, a flawed individual, but the music is great, and I think Europeans always love James Brown. It's going to be big here, and
it's amazing.
Don't miss it.
To see you play in that film, because he played in the Blues Brothers.
Yeah, he was a good friend of mine. That's why I had to be in the movie. I couldn't, not be in that movie because I wanted to help tell James' story. He was just the real goods. He had it.
Then last question. I heard, I didn't notice it, that Steven Spielberg played a little
Yeah,
role
he was the
at
cl-
the end of the
that's right, he was the
Blues
clerk- he was the
Brothers.
clerk.
But you did it for him in
Well,
3 years later.
Well,
in,
I asked.
in Diana
I
Jones.
asked to be in. I solicited that. I asked Spielberg and Lucas, "Can I have a small part in Indiana Jones? I'm such a fan," and they gave me that part. You know, that was going on a lot back then. You had directors playing actors and actors, going and doing different projects with their friends, just little cameos. It was just kind of, we were all friends then. That was our time. That was our time. So that was our family.
He was a good actor. I mean, Spielberg.
I would think. I think Spielberg's chops as a writer, director, scenarist, visionary, artist, industrialist are probably better than his chops as an actor. But with a little coaching, I could probably improve his acting skills. But I don't think he's going to give me the chance.
Dan, thank you
Again.
for being with us this afternoon. It was a really great pleasure.
Thank you, merci.
Thank you very much.
Go. Thank you.
Nostalgie, nostalgie.